Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to Market Mondays. Today we're going to be talking a lot about what happened last week, especially with some announcements that was made by the president and expected things that are coming this week and how rates are looking like right now. So, before I get right into it, I'm going to do a quick dad joke. This one is, why do birds fly south in the winter? Why do birds fly south in the winter? Because it's too far to walk. Get it? There's really nothing to get. It's just meant to set you up. Anyway, so getting right into it. So before we talk about the news, I wanted to let you guys know that if you are a real estate agent in Washington State that needs clock hour credits and needs free clock hour credits, this Friday with McFerrin University, I'm teaching a serving military client clock hour class. Mastering the VA loan for realtors this Friday at between 10 to 1. This is just a free class that you can get 3 clock hour credits for your clock hours. So if you want to sign up for that, I'll include the link in the description below. That way you guys can get signed up. Again, this is done through McFerrin University, so you have to register with them. Just letting me know you want to be part of it is not enough. So again, it's free. You don't have to pay for anything. You'll get your certificates for free as well. So feel free to sign up and get your clock hour credits and get some updates on how the VA loan has changed and also just overall VA loan stuff. Alrighty, so getting into what we're going to be talking about today. So last week we had some really solid improvement with rates in regards to a number of news, but the main news that came out was Trump's announcement. I think it was probably Thursday. Trump's announcement in regards to directing his representatives to spend about $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities. Okay. Also, last week we got a bunch of labor market news. So we got some pretty good, decent data. However, the unemployment data got revised, and now the unemployment rate went down from 4.5 to 4.4. Still relatively elevated, but they made some revised numbers. Even through November, October, they revised it down a little bit. And now we're sitting around 4.4 for the unemployment rate. For the most part, that was kind of a mixed bag. But the main big news that really improved rates was Trump's announcement. So, what does Trump's announcement really mean? So, what it really means is that he directed the FHFA or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to spend about $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities. All of this is confirmed through the FHFA director. The FHFA director has confirmed that they intend to spend all this money toward buying mortgage-backed securities. And this isn't just an arbitrary number. This is something that is available in their balance sheet. So it wasn't just a number that was picked out. They saw the balance sheet, saw that this was available. So they're like, hey, let's spend about $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities. And what this does, though, is that mortgage-backed securities is the purchase or the selling of them is really what determines how mortgage rates go up or go down. A lot of people think it's direct, and it's directly linked to mortgage rates. A lot of people think Fed rates are directly linked, and it's not. It's influence, and there's no way of really knowing when, let's say, the day the Fed makes a decision, what mortgage rates are going to do. In a long-term scale, though, you can ski. It takes about 6 to 10 months to see that if the Fed rate goes down, mortgage rates could come down. So it takes about 6 to 10 months, and there's a huge lag. So for the most part, we don't really know like the day of when the Fed makes a decision what mortgage rates are going to do. However, let's say they do spend $200 billion all in one day to buy mortgage-backed securities, we're going to see a direct impact that day. Now, I don't right now we don't know what the plan is on how they're going to spend $200 billion. Is it going to be an incremental every month, or is it this much and this much at a different time? We don't know. And we have no idea what it's actually going to do for mortgage rates. The idea is that it could only help in this specific situation. So, what Fannie and Freddie Mac are going to do are going to spend money toward the mortgage-backed securities to buy them. So, the buying and the act of buying a mortgage-backed securities actually do help mortgage rates improve, and that's what we want. We really want to see those improve. But the thing is that we're expecting mortgage rates to improve in our 2026 forecast. In regards to also the Fed is also looking to buy more bonds, treasury bonds, and mortgage-backed securities. So in December, they made that announcement. Now the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are intended to buy in addition to what the Fed is going to do when they announce that in December. So we could have these multiple entities multiple government entities buying mortgage-backed securities, which could help mortgage rates improve more and more throughout the entire year. So depending on how that goes, we don't really know how mortgage rates are going to trend. It might be just enough to level out the volatility. Like if we have a bunch of volatility throughout the year, it may just cancel it out, and it may not improve mortgage rates at all. It might just enough to plateau it through the spikes, um, or it does improve mortgage rates. We don't really know. So that's really exciting to kind of know that that's happening down the line. But what I do want to say is that, just a day prior or 2 days prior, the president also announced that we needed to spend like $1.5 trillion toward the Department of Defense and expanding our military. Um, if that were the case, that actually kind of counteracts even more so because it's 1.5 trillion versus 200 billion. That counteracts what the improvement of mortgage rates. The reason why that counteracts is because in order to raise that amount of money, they have to issue more treasury bonds for people to buy. So they can raise money to for that 1.5 trillion. So that's what's kind of unfortunate about that announcement literally being almost a day to two before the announcement of the $200 billion to mortgage-backed securities. So we'll see in regards to how that goes. And the reason why it counteracts is that in order for these bonds to be attractive to buy, they have to raise the rates on those bonds, which also raises mortgage rates. So we'll see how this goes throughout the year. Again, what Trump said, what the president said about the 1.5 trillion seems to have less actual substance than the $200 billion is what I'm discovering. So we'll see how the year goes. We don't really know, especially with all this Venezuela stuff. We already spend more money than like the next 10 countries combined. So I don't think we need to spend more money on our military. So that's what's happening. As of basically last Thursday and Friday, knowing that mortgage-backed securities could potentially improve, in addition to the improvement that we're already expecting. So, and I will go into a lot more in detail on my 2026 forecasts in next week on Wednesday. So, if you guys are signed up for that, you'll be on the live Zoom and I'll be able to walk you through the entire forecast presentation. So, now moving on from there, we also get the weekly continuing jobless claims this week as well as initial, trying to figure out how many people are going to file or have filed for new unemployment benefits or continue to file for unemployment benefits. And we get the new inflation report this week as well, which is tomorrow. We don't expect a huge move in the inflation report, so we most likely won't see a huge move in mortgage rates either. Um, so overall, right now it's actually a pretty good time to consider locking the rate right now because we are at basically the lowest we've seen it since September of 2024. So to kind of give you a snapshot of that, let me share my screen real quick. We have that here. So right now, this is where we're at, which is again the lowest we've seen basically since September of 2024. So we're already at a 2 month or I guess 2026 low, and we hope that it continues to go down like that. But it's lowest at all of 2025, which is a good thing. So we've seen the highs of here. Back in the day, we were back in the high sixes, low sevens to mid sixes, and now we're in the low sixes and creeping into the high fives now, which is really nice. So we're heading in the right direction, which is I'm really excited about, which means tons of opportunities to refinance and to give you guys some perspective about buyers with these rates going down officially 1% less than where we were at the beginning of 2025. That means 5 million more people are eligible to buy because now it's a little bit more affordable. Now, if we see another 1% improvement from the start of 2026, and then we see a 1% change at the end of 2026, we have another 5 million more people. So since 2025, we might see 10 by the beginning of 2027, we might see 10 million more people enter potentially at most, maybe like 10 million, but a decent amount more people entering the market to buy. And that means also a lot of people who are holding on with their homes who didn't want to sell because mortgage rates are too high might be looking to sell might be more interested in selling than they were before 2000 since 2025. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm really excited to see how these numbers play out. Otherwise, that's about all I got for you guys this week. Nuke out.